Hello, hello, hello. Sorry for the lateness. Lateness is greatness. But yeah, apologies for the slight running over the time there. We were busy setting up one hell of a show with Jez over on his channel and quite a stacked panel over there as well. Great preview show on that side of YouTube. Flip over to United side of YouTube, and this preview is probably going to be a slight bit different, but nonetheless, stacked panel over here. Call it your Friday night, the good, the bad, and the ugly special. I'm joined by the foe of the weekend for Sunday, Anthony Herbert. How are we doing?
I'm not too bad, Fuzzy, and you. I'm looking forward to tonight's show, and I, I think we're going to speak some interesting facts, on tonight's show.
Yeah, yeah, as long as you haven't been facted out with your show already previously. Um,
Oh,
got to come up with some unique facts now. Got to go open the book of catalogues and see what else there is to say. See
yeah.
what other gospel truth can be spoken. Also joined the neutral in this occasion, but also fierce foe to both of our clubs. But he's the mediator, the official, the non-biased, non-VAR corrupted official. It's Early Doors Football TV. How are we doing?
Oh, good, mate. And as always, it's good to be together again with the feet of used to. It will be an interesting show. I mean, as always, Mr. Herbert is always stuffing his face for one. Unbelievable every single time. But,
First it was McDonald's, and now it's Domino's. I mean, what's that
Domino's.
about? I
Do you
know
know
I've had a
what?
The best part about it, you know what the best part was, that Anthony? You're doing a live show, and then suddenly this box just comes gliding over.
Domino's, bit of prime bottle.
Bit of prime, bit of Arsenal prime coming through, and all that. Yeah, I know. I tell you what, when Fuzzy did the countdown, I thought 30 seconds. Right, might stick a slice in, and that was what I just did. In 30 seconds, gone.
So what pizza was that then? Was that
It's the. I she didn't even order me the right one. Actually, it's a meat fest one, the meat
the
feast
meat
one.
feast one?
Yeah,
Okay, I've had myself a Texas barbecue tonight. I was a bit late to
that's what
Jess's
I
show
wanted.
because I went and ordered everybody else in my household some Domino's pizzas. Bloody expensive, but
Oh,
still
tell me
good
about it.
stuff. So
I'm not arguing. The missus paid for it.
it's free food for you.
It's free food. Five bloody times put her hand in her pocket. I'm telling you. Jesus.
Could have struggled to keep her hands out of her pockets now.
Yeah,
told her to put her hands there, and I'm just not going to take them out. But yeah, of course, got Marvel Flossie in the chat there. Come on, Fuzz, get your
you got
finger
mama.
out. Keep them up. Oh, Christ Almighty, we won't go there. It's you in agreement. Yeah, again, I do apologise for that. It was meant to start at 8:30, but yeah, things happen, YouTube happens, and you sort of get lost in the sauce a bit with conversation about football. So big ups to Luke James as well. Good evening to you.
Yeah, Luke.
See through three for ages. I know, since Wednesday. It's been donkey's years. Can't believe it. Big ups to Jamino as well. Always
Yeah,
good to
Jimmy, yeah.
see you. And everybody saying hello to each other in the chat's all good stuff because we're all a big happy family, a big happy community. So, starting with the fixture itself. What are we thinking? What are we feeling? This game, big stakes, huge Arsenal Football Club. But talking of stakes, will there be mistakes that will ultimately cost Arsenal their Premier League title running at the very last hurdle? What are we thinking? Is the confidence for Arsenal high? Is the momentum there? Are we feeling like Old Trafford, 3 points in the bag? We'll start with Anthony with this one.
Do you know what, Fuzzy? I've been talking about this game all day in work, and I've obviously, as you know, I predicted that Arsenal win because with recent games of what Man United has been playing, I just, do you know what? It's like when I keep hearing people mention it in the results, and it's like it's ruining my predictions. My prediction score, and I'm thinking, hang on a second, this person might have a point. I've heard 1-1, 2-2, 2-1 Arsenal, 3-1 Arsenal, and bloody 1-0 Man United with Anthony scoring the winner in the 89th minute. So I've heard all this today, right? So this is it was a bit frustrating. I think that was why I left work early and went round the bloody pub to try and be sorry, sort of thing, But yeah, I'm expecting a high, a fast game. It always is fuzz when it's Man United versus Arsenal, whether it's at the Emirates, whether it's at Old Trafford. So both teams are literally are going to be up for this game. The only thing that I will say, being on shows that we haven't touched on, is it gets quite disciplined. The heat rises in this game, so I'm expecting a good fast game. Memento in the game as well. I think there's going to be a few bookings in this game as well, maybe a sending off. So this is what this game does get really heated, by the way. So that's what I'm not hoping that for you. I'm not definitely hoping that for us, but I can seriously see quite a lot of bookings, maybe a sending off. I think it might ruin the opposition side. But listen, I'm all up for this game on Sunday, and you got to think we're on the Sunday night takeaway show after this game, so
it's going to be a lot to say.
It's going to be a lot to say. If there's any jokes and any banter on my side, listen, I'm going to take it. I will take it. And but we've discussed this on the last show we had, obviously with my feelings regarding Arsenal and a certain Mikel Arteta. But we've got to rely on other teams to stop Man City for us to win in the Premier League. It includes this guy's team up here, Tone's team, West Ham, last day of the season. West Ham don't get it over the line. Tone's going to have a major bollocking from me on the good, the bad, the ugly. And also, obviously, they've got Tottenham midweek on a Wednesday, and also they got Fulham this weekend. But the way I'm looking at it, Fuzzy, I think the only team that can maybe do a slight bit of damage is Fulham. I'm sorry, but I'm just going on prior to West Ham and Tottenham how they're both playing at the minute. That's all I can go on. But listen, it's going to be a good game, and I'm going to say, may the best team win. Arsenal.
Best team on the day. But I do second your sentiments with how you've perceived this game and hearing it from everybody else, just changing how you feel. Of course, me saying I'm predicting that we're going to get absolutely fucked sideways 5-0 every single time between now and the end of the season. Of course, it's sort of getting close to this game. I'm sort of swaying a little bit away from 5-0 drubbings, but it can still happen. I hear some people talking about 8-2s, trying to, I'd hate to be United.
Oh, what's it, Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, it's albeit a joke, of course, but still, there's people that might actually be low-key hoping for that sort of a scoreline. But yeah, 100%. It's going to be an intriguing game, and especially that sort of Sunday morning feel. Whilst everybody else has played their games on the Saturday, it's gonna definitely the morning air is going to smell a bit different. And I'm not just saying that because I would have had something quite questionable on Saturday night. It's just there's going to be that air of competition, a fierce battle or a war, something like that, about to go down at Old Trafford at 4:30 p.m. on the day. We'll hand this over to Early Doors. Neutral, your view on this kind of a game. What's your thoughts and your feelings about this fixture?
I agree with what you're both saying. Obviously, with Anthony's comment saying it's going to be a bit of a feisty old game because history, isn't it? History where used to have always fought out back in the day for the Premier League. One club went on to carry on winning the league, whereas another club, this man down below, his team just kind of faded into the distance. Now it's the other way around. It's a case of Man United have now faded away. Arsenal are there, but it's one of those. You can see it, but you can't reach it. So I think in this game, Man United will turn up against Arsenal. I don't think it's going to be as easy as you said, fans, pundits are saying. I think it's going to be a lot harder. But form-wise, we know obviously Arsenal are in better form. It comes down to Arteta's tactics for one. Is he feels like, because apparently is that why Anthony Partey's not available?
Oh, he's muted.
You muted.
Muted. You're muted. Anthony, you're muted. Can't hear you.
Sorry. I think that, but we've heard that part is injured. I mean, Saka's apparently he's slightly injured. He's carrying a knock sort of thing. But I personally, I think this is typical Mikel Arteta. I think he's playing mind games before the game starts, in my own opinion. So we'll see on the date. It won't surprise me if you do see Thomas Partey in the team and also Saka as well. Buzzy, I was just going to say, my brother messaged me. He said to me to send him the link if you want him on the show. Is that entirely up to you?
Yeah, go for it. Drop him that link. Yeah.
Okay. What I'll have to do if I might have to come off to send him the link on my phone, and then I'll pop back on.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Fine. Yeah, that's all good.
I won't be long.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, just to make an analogy about what you said about Arsenal sort of seeing it there, can't quite reach it. An analogy you could probably say it's like the world's best dwarf basketball player being drafted into the NBA.
Yes.
You're going to look good. You're going to be going in between all the legs, but when it comes to a slam dunk, you're going to need all the booster seats you can get, stools, ladders, you name it, trampolines, spring-loaded shoes, something like that. Maybe a jetpack, a mini jetpack, just sort of add a bit of emphasis. But go with what should be.
Funny you say that. The other day there was a video I saw on Insta of
oh no,
two dwarfs fighting, boxing in a ring, and you could just see the fact of one you could class as being Man United, being Arsenal, and the other one being Man City, because the Man City guy, he had more legs, but the smaller guy. Well, let's put it the other way around. Arsenal got the longer legs because obviously they're kind of been up there, keeping up with their play. The smaller guy was being knocked all over the place, but guess who won? The smaller guy.
Yeah.
Yes, it was quite ironic seeing that video. You just made that comment; it just made me think of that. So yes.
So Jamia says here, it would be typical for United to play spineless except Evans and Cambuala to drop 10 out of 10 performances on paper over cracks with a 0-0 draw, then lose 3-0 to Newcastle and Brighton.
Yes.
That would be Manchester United in a nutshell. And you know what? I think there's quite a few United fans that just for the sake of seeing the Arsenal tears, if that's what they enjoy, they'll take that. They seriously will. Because I mean nothing else is going to matter in the league. Europe's pretty much already gone. You're not displacing Newcastle. You're not displacing Tottenham getting the other Europa League spot. Chelsea probably will do just about enough to keep a hold of 7th place. So, I mean, our part of the table is sort of turned into being United looking quite comfortable, about 4, 5, 6 points ahead of 7th place or something, to just all of a sudden it's flipped on its head. It's now United are the team that are looking at the others that are quite comfortable sat in 6th place, and thanks to mediocrity from teams, English teams in the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League, it's essentially it screwed the pooch for whoever finishes 5th place now. So that's incentivized Tottenham and Villa to really go full speed for the rest of the season, just to make sure that they don't get, that one gets Champions League, the other one doesn't. For me, it's like with United and this drop off that we've had, and it's significant. It's a significant drop off with all the other teams around us as well. stepping up and finding form at the most pivotal time. I said that the best it was going to get was 6th place. Are you looking at where how the table's looking right now? Do you guys feel like this is just the table perhaps correcting teams positionally rather than it being sort of that false reading that some people have been getting across the season?
I'll agree on that because I mean, there's a point where we was actually 5th.
Mm.
So when you look at that and to where we are now, that's probably pro art or pro season. It's our remit where we are at the moment. That's probably where we are. So I agree on that comment. I must admit. I mean, can you say that Arsenal have, in certain respect, this season overachieved? Because obviously, you know, there's no cup competitions for them, for one. And all that's left is the fighters for the league. And we know, obviously, how that ended last season. So are we going to see a repeat performance?
What are your thoughts on that, Anthony, with the league table and the big shifting of teams around that sort of Europa League position? Do you reckon that's a case of just it's the league, undergoing its sort of great reset or something, just rebalancing where everybody is in the league? Do you think it's setting itself right?
Yeah, I think it is because, in all fairness, the way the teams are playing this season, obviously that's that's the position that they're in. So obviously anything can happen between there. I mean, you've got Tottenham now. They're going to be finishing around about 5th or 6th. You've got Newcastle in the through there. You've got who else you got there? I think you've got Brighton there. I think Chelsea's in there as well. So that's 4 different teams. And then obviously you've got yourselves. And with West Ham, I think West Ham, where are you now, Tane? You're 10th, aren't you?
9th or 10th now, yeah.
9th or 10th. So it's like what I said. I haven't looked that far down the table. I know you can bring up the top of the whole table, but what is important to me at the minute is just the top 2, really. I mean, I'm sorry to rub it in first and thing, but it's just it's not looking that great down the table. So, in all fairness, listen, whether you have a good season, Fuzz, it's like what I said in the last stream. I think Man United, that you're not going to have a good season in the league. I mean, in the league. But I've also touched on it as well. You're in a cup final, and I feel that that's where we're going to see. I think that's where we're going to see the real Man United within that cup final. Against Man City. The league, I think, is too many games gone now. You think of it. We've got this one coming up on the weekend, then we've got one after. So, I possibility Man United might pick up technically I could say 3 points, or I can say 4. I can't see Man United picking up 6 points if I'm honest. But look, just enjoy this FA Cup final now, and it's like what I said. Your manager could be out the door. He could be going to Bayern Munich, as far as I know, and then you could come in and a new manager steps in. Don't worry, Fuzzy. I'm not going to say his name.
I'm watching you. I've got a very powerful cursor button on my screen, and one wrong thing and you're getting cancelled. But
yeah.
Speaking of players' fitness, players being out injured, players coming back, the story with United players at the moment is that everyone who's on the injury list at the moment is all seemingly trying to get things together and get themselves fit, fully ready for the FA Cup final. Pretty much everyone's penning themselves in. Will be fit and available for the FA Cup final. Ironically, it's the only meaningful game for Man United for the rest of the season. And it's a chance for a trophy. So, of course, if you're a player, you're going to look at that and think, ooh, now I don't like playing for this club, but that game, ooh, that might be something to has like a little memento to take away when I leave Man United in the summer. some people have said that there's a case of it being conspicuous that players are not actually that injured, that they're just out because they don't want to play in meaningless games which will just tarnish their careers, but then they'll step up in the finals. I'm not too sure how, what the level of truth that is there, but with all of these players sort of penning themselves in, coming back, I just, ironically, for just that last meaningful game of the season. I mean, what's your take with the squad situation for Manchester United, with how the club's been facing their injury crisis? I mean, for example, Mason Mount injured again. He's out again. We spent what, 53 something million on him?
Yeah.
And man's out. He's got donned the number 7 shirt.
Yeah.
Is it the curse? Is it being that Paul Pogba did some of his voodoo juju? Because I know he practiced those sort of things. So I mean, what's your takes on the state of the Man United squad at the moment?
I think with the Man United squad I think it relies with the players and also the manager Ten Hag. Don't get me wrong. I know Ten Hag was a good manager at Ajax. He's come to United. I don't know what it is, because if you compare Man United from last season, you finished like third in the league last season, and you went into 2 cup finals, winning one of them. But this season is a totally different scenario. I personally reckon with your managers and the United players, I don't think this season is not gelling for us. I don't know what it is. There's something between your players and the manager, and it's not quite getting over to them and crossing the line. Personally, I don't think your players like the manager. That's the only thing that I can actually say. Regarding your injuries, I know that it's like with us, been hit by injuries, you've been hit by injuries. West Ham, they've been hit by injuries as well this season. So we all get injuries throughout the season with our teams. But with this United team, I feel that the players and Ten Hag are not gelling. I don't think they respect him, to be honest with you, Fuzz. And it won't surprise me if this is going to be another manager shoved underneath the bus. Hell, he's Bayern Munich bound. I've been reading it all. He's injured. Bayern Munich wants him. So that's all I can say. Hopefully, if he's still the manager next season, he might be able to bring in a couple of good players. But depending on where you finish this season, and if you don't win this FA Cup final, is it going to give Ten Hag the pulling power to bring in some top quality players? That I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what's your take on it, early doors? Because you've had your fair share of injuries to key players, and you've seen how David Moyes has had to move his squad around. I mean, it's like playing the biggest game of musical chairs if you're at Carrington, with just who's fit and available.
Yeah, I think you look at the squad itself on paper, it should be fairly decent, but when you look at it, there's a lot of I suppose in some way the best way to look at it is there's a lot of individual play going on there, and I think that's what really upsets the balance. I mean, as you said, or I say as Anthony said, it could be the fact of they don't want to play for Ten Hag, but there was a cohesion this season. There's not. The Saints happened. It could be what Anthony said. They've had enough of this manager's tactics, his methods, his style, and it's a case of hopefully player power will dictate. There's new owners in there. If we do this, there's a chance we can get shot of him sooner rather than later. And the thing was, you've got 2, possibly 3 players you can build a team around, but I think that's really it for a club like your stature of Man United. That's kind of unheard of, because you always had basically quality going all the way through the length and breadth of that team. This year, and that you just got to wonder who the bloody hell, as you said, who's available.
100%. We'll quickly welcome in the sensible brother to Anthony. We have Richard Herbert. Quick question: whose tractor is better? Whose tractor is better? Is it Richard's tractor or is it
My tractor is better because he's got a picture of himself on his tractor, but it looks more like Sexton.
My brother's tractor is a lot better because his motors are more lot than mine.
Stacks of it, Rich.
As I'm just telling you, it's the effects of supporting Man United. Trust me, if we start winning titles, you're gonna have it's going to be better hair comeback than Antonio Conte.
Yeah,
It's going to be something special, comeback of the century. But I'll extend that to you about the whole injury crisis per se that United have been facing this season. What's your verdict on this injury crisis that we've had all throughout the season, and who would you put the blame down to? Would you say it's the manager with his tactics? Do you think it's the schedule of how many games you've got to play? Or do you think that there is perhaps problems with the medical department? We have signed the Arsenal doctor. He's probably still supporting Arsenal from the comfort of the Carrington injury room. Yeah,
you just answered the question, aren't you? I believe it's down to a number of things, really. I think the recruitment from Ten Hag in the summer has not been up to, when you look at our 700 million from Rice and what Man City have done in the market, the players we've bought in and everything is not been very good. On the injury side, obviously, like we just said, there's clubs in everything that's got injury problems, and we've had quite a lot of injury problems, mainly in defence as well. But I just believe a lot of it is down to Ten Hag as well. I just don't think he knows how to motivate a player to play football. It's tactics. I look at him on the sidelines when the game's on. I think it's like his chin's down by his chest and everything, and he's pulling his and he don't do nothing. I just don't think he's the man for the job now. We've had 2 seasons at it. We've won the League Cup. So has Liverpool, but he's got to go for me. I just don't think he's the answer there. Honestly, I don't. He's fair enough. I think they're giving the FA Cup final. I think if he loses that, I think he'll be down the road.
Well, yeah. I mean, if I were to look at the situation, I think that there's a whole plethora of different things. I think with the way now medical facilities have not really been up to scratch for quite a few years now. I mean, we've seen it right the way throughout. Injuries to key players at key points in the season, and it's never really we've never really had a season where it's been great player fitness. And I think that is just how the culture of the club is slowly just eroded away, and I think it has been regressing. I mean, you see it with when people post stories and their articles about Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe saying, listen, everybody got to start coming back to the offices. Your working from home thing is not going to fly anymore. We need to see commitment and effort from all levels of the club. And I think perhaps we could say it's the opening of the can of worms, that there's been a lot more sort of lackluster effort in all areas of the club. And I think where we usually as fans, we only see a team play 90 minutes per weekend. We get the press conferences, the post-match reactions, and then we see the training photos. Just how far down does that rot actually go, and how badly how negative the effects are and how far it spreads? I mean, the whole toxic culture looks as though it's starting to show up, that it's infected absolutely everywhere. Just radioactive materials. Like, we might as well call Carrington Chernobyl. It's just toxic everywhere. And how Ineos are going to fix that? I mean, answers on a postcard. I mean, anybody's guess would probably be somewhere in the realms of possibility, but we have to see the proof in the pudding. We'll flip the script here to Arsenal in terms of their approach coming into this game. Of course, if you watched the show on Jez's channel, speaking about the post or the pre-match comments from Arteta talking about hoping to win hoping to win the Premier Leagues, and just the use of language, choice words used, Anthony, in his pre-match comments. What's your takes on Mikel Arteta and how he's going about handling Premier League business at the moment?
Is that one for me?
That was for Anthony.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was for Richard then. Yeah. It's. Yeah, I said it in the last stream, Fuzzy. I mean, it was safe to say that we bottled the league last season. I mean, we were 15 points at one time above Man City, reduced to 11, and then 8-5, and then obviously Man City went on that run and won the league. This time, if we don't win the league, I'm not going to put it down as Arsenal bottling it. I'm going to put it up as a certain Mikel Arteta actually changing the team round in that Aston Villa game. I mean, everything was working. You know, all these wins we had, the 4-0, the 5-0, the 6-0. I mean, you know, and why change it against Aston Villa? If it's not broken, you don't fix it. It's that simple. And to be honest with you, if we don't win it, I think it's time for him to go. I've said this, but he's obviously still going to be there next season. It's like what he said. My brother knows my feelings on it as well. If he spends 250 million next season, that's his first £1 billion that he has spent at this club. I mean, let's be honest, Man City hasn't spent that high since Pep's been in charge. This FFP lurking over his head. I mean, look at the money that he spent on players last season. I think the dearest one was around about, what was it, like 50 million quid, if that. So, but you know, they're bringing in these players to play with class players, so they learn off them. We haven't got that at our squad. We've got minimum depth. We got good players, not world class. We've got good players, but who can we place these good players with? You know, with what? Elneny, Jorginho, Eddie Nketiah, Smith Rowe, Vieira. You know, the list is endless at Arsenal Football Club. So this is the problem that we've got. Personally, I don't think this. He said that statement in his interview. Hopefully, we win the league. Well, I'm not buying, because it's not hopefully. It's either we are going to win the league or we're not going to win the league, in my opinion. So I don't think this manager wants the Premier League. He's thrown us out of all the other domestic cups. Champions League, I'm not counting that, because he got to where I expected them to be, quarter-final. Anything past that was a bonus to me. And I'm sorry, but that's my views and my take on my football club at the minute. You don't win the league, you should be gone.
Yeah, I'll pose the question to Richard here, that with Mikel Arteta coming into this game talking about his views on the league and per se, if Mikel Arteta was talking about, you know, trophies and competing for titles, or just the sort of ways that he speaks about his clubs, if Mikel Arteta had affiliation to United in the history books, or let's say, for instance, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer spoke about United the way that Arteta speaks about Arsenal and how he goes about managing competitions, what would your stance be on the manager in this situation?
I know my brother's doubts on Arteta and stuff like that. Obviously, it's hard to speak about another manager who don't support the club. I get where he's coming from, like, but first of all, I think that the football they've played this season has been a lot better than last season. I mean, they've annihilated sides and everything. So, you know, I think he means well, and I think he knows he's close. And you know, when you're like in that situation and you come to the end of the season, like, you know, you're trying to edge your players on, and I think that's what he's trying to do. I think he's trying to protect them from the media and keep them calm and all that and everything. I think Arsenal have had a very good season, to be honest with you. They they played good football, and I think they've been a lot better than last season. So yeah, it's hard to say the way the league's going to go, but I think he's a good manager. He's still young. He's learning the game. So I think he's had a very good season.
I'll say one thing. It can be a good season for Arsenal. It could be a good season for Arsenal, finishing second place. A good season.
Yeah,
but it's not successful. Bottom line, it's not a successful season. And I suppose if you're an Arsenal fan, what do you want? Do you want good seasons or do you want successful seasons?
I think when you've built up now, like Arsenal, it's going to come to the point now you're going to want successful seasons. But you can see he's just that step away from it. I just think Man City is too strong for everybody. It proved it last season and everything. They still got a cut, obviously, the league title this year if they win it. But they are the team to beat at the moment. And I just think Arsenal's just a little bit short. But like my brother said with the Aston Villa game, he chopped and changed the team and moved it about and everything. I think, like you said, that's the game is going to cost them the actual Premier League.
100%. Well, early doors. I mean, from a West Ham perspective, there's not really much for you to say in terms of league campaign success, but you've had success in other competitions. You've there's the side competitions that seemingly beneath clubs like Arsenal. They're beneath. He fallen asleep.
Yeah, being a long old day, so I keep going every now and then. I've had enough coffee to try and keep myself awake.
Needs a glass of chocolate milk. That's what he needs. But your verdict on with Arsenal, where they are, where the club is at the moment, where is it that Arsenal fans should be versus where they are now, in terms of expectation, in terms of what they want, what they demand? How far apart are Arsenal where they are at the moment to where they should be?
We know the old saying, it's the hope that kills you, isn't it? And unfortunately, this is what this manager's doing with these fans. It's giving them hope. But where do they stand at the moment? I think if you look at it, I'd say player-wise, probably missing around about 2 or 3 players that are kind of can actually get it over the line to actually become Premier League winners. I think that's what they're lacking at the moment. So really, they are still 2 seasons behind, I'd say, compared to the likes of City.
Yeah.
If Arsenal 2 seasons behind Man City, how many seasons are United behind City?
Well, if you see a DeLorean pulling outside Old Trafford, then you know where you stand.
If we make a signing and we start dancing and making songs about it, like party hard, party dee 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 dee. If we start doing that, we're on the right track. Progress.
Don't forget Rice Baby as well. Don't forget that
one.
That's
true. And if that DeLorean pulls up and Doc Brown comes out, you won't be saying "Great Scott." He's going to be saying "Great shit."
Yeah, what a pile of shit.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Christ. Jesus Christ. Well, let's in the situation with the Manchester United manager, Erik ten Hag. We've heard recently that people were saying, well, after Palace, he should have been sacked. And technically on just results, if you solely base things on results, that's a sackable result. Whichever way you want to look at it, it's a sackable result. You lose 4-0 to Palace and have no reply, no response to it. But by the looks of it, Ineos seem to have made their stance clear. They want to hold on to him for the meanwhile. Do you guys think that Erik ten Hag is already sacked? Is he just biding? Is he just riding out the rest of the season? Is he gone? Is he a goner?
FA Cup, I reckon. I reckon he's on a shoestring at the moment. If they don't win that FA Cup, I reckon he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just being a caretaker for the time being now.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Anthony? Do you think he's
Yeah,
gonna?
I think he's treading on thin ice. But listen, we don't know if there's anything going on in the background for us. To be honest with you, I know we've heard these rumours that he's linked with Bayern Munich and that, but see, I don't know. This is where I feel sorry, and this is facts, and nothing against like these managers or anything like that. But I mean, this is the second Dutch manager that you've had in your spell of your team. You've had Van Gaal, you've had Ten Hag, and it's not producing well. So it may be thinking like somewhere down the lines, you've got to get in another manager because it's simply it's not working. And I mean, for you fans, for Man United fans, you can see I watch it on streams and on different shows where you was used to that time when you was winning everything under Alex Ferguson. Yeah, it was great, but you've got to obviously you've got to move on for that now, and this is what you've got. I mean, you've had quite a lot of managers since Alex Ferguson. You've had good managers there, but unfortunately, it hasn't paid off. So I don't know who's out there to manage Man United next. I don't know if there's talks of like a Zinedine Zidane or someone like that. But is he really want to come to Man United and knowing that he's got to sort out the entire team? Because I'll be honest with you, if you want to get back to winning ways like Alex Ferguson, the squad, the team that you've got now, yeah, I'm not being funny. I could turn around and say you're a bloody old decade behind that. Easily, but I mean, I don't know, Fuzzy. It's listen. It's not the Man United that we know, and that's all I can say. I don't want to say anything horrible on that, and I won't. But unfortunately, there's something there, and this is with this new owner coming in. Is Radcliffe? He obviously his aim is to sort it out and quick. Regarding his interview when he first obviously went to yourselves, look. So whether he's got a manager in mind in the back of his head, there's got to be stuff going on in the back boardroom. There's got to be talks, and Ten Hag could be the last one to know. And unfortunately, it'd be off you go, mate. You're not for us. And it's like what my brother said, and what Tony said as well. It's going to be after the FA Cup final if you don't win it.
It's interesting you mentioned Zinedine Zidane. I mean, for me, it would be uncharted territory for Zinedine Zidane. I know a lot of people say, but look at what he did with Real Madrid. The matter of fact is Man United are not Real Madrid. It's not a team set up for glory from day one. It's a team that you need to find your own identity and make your own glory with something that's completely your idea. And the way in which we're going to have to make this a massive DIY project, whoever the manager is, it's got to work with that board that's being instilled at Man United and find a new way to win trophies. Trying the old, as much as we coin it as United fans, the Man United way, the DNA of Manchester United. What is the Man United way? In 2024, does it even exist? Is there a Man United way right now? For me, there isn't. It's all got to be made from scratch. It's been lost in whatever realm of fantasy land. And now we're sort of sat amongst the reality. It's like you can be sat with a virtual reality headset on, looking at a beautiful world. You take it off, you're in the middle of shit creek. And I suppose that's the thing, is what manager would be the one to bring that new era of Manchester United to fruition? Like, what name would fit that bill? Give us a couple names, Richard, to who you would see filling that role, potentially as somebody who can give Man United a new DNA.
I think Conte would have been a good bet. he's obviously proven well. He come into Chelsea and he built Chelsea up a bit, or he had a few good players left there, but he had to bring some new faces and fresh faces and build it all up. With Bayern Munich, Tuchel, I think he could be a good asset there. He seems to know what he's doing in the English game. He come over, didn't he? Won a few trophies and stuff. He could rebuild. I mean, you look at Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp. I mean, Liverpool fans want him out. It went to his first 5 seasons. He didn't deliver nothing. It took him a good 5 seasons to build the empire there. They won the Champions League, a couple of FA Cups and stuff and everything. But I'd like to see probably Conte or Thomas Tuchel come in and do something on there.
Okay. Early doors, what kind of names would you reckon would get things ticking at United again?
Moisey.
Yeah, bring him back. Bring him back to the fold. He's learnt his lesson. Bring him back. Obviously, we know the Tuchel name, has been thrown into the hat. I mean, even De Zerbi at one point. We know, obviously, what Anthony was saying. He wears a waistcoat by all accounts. He could be, obviously, in line for it. But Tuchel probably would be a good shout. I'd say, as long as he's given control, because when he first came into Chelsea, he had that little bit of control, but he let it slip. And unfortunately, player power at Chelsea at the time was greater than the manager, so that's how he got out of it. But yeah, Tuchel probably at this stage would probably be your best shout, because if you look at if you want to go above that in the top name managers, would they want to come to a club where such a kind of state that there's no identity to the club, that they've got to do so much rebuilding to get it back to where it was? Would they want to come in? Whereas for Tuchel and that, it might be more his kind of remit.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's in terms of manager. The players of Manchester United, I mean, where do you start? How long is that sell list? How big is the buy list? How big is the shopping list, the shopping cart? You're going to need, start going to Sainsbury's. You can't take one shopping trolley cart. You have to take, pretty much the entire, just the whole train of them. I mean, there's so many holes that have got to be plugged, so many gaps and just rotten tiles that have got to be ripped out and then replaced. I mean, how many players are we reckoning, will need to be sold for Manchester United this summer as part of their overhaul?
I think personally, Fuzzy, you're talking at least, I think a good 11 players. I mean, the only ones that springs out of mind, the ones that we should keep, is Martinez, your centre back. Yeah, Højlund up front. I don't know. I mean the others. I mean, who would you else keep there? Would you keep Fernandes? I know you won't keep McTominay, but in all fairness, it's like what I said. You've only got like 3 good players there, and you're not building anything around these 3 players. I mean, it's like, I'm going to talk like the building trade terms. When you build an extension, you need it to build it on a good solid base. But unfortunately, that base at your club is cracked, and the cracks keeps appearing, and they're appearing here, they're appearing everywhere. So
I'm on the roof.
No matter what manager, no matter what manager you bring in, they've got to refill all these cracks and build that solid. You've got to start from scratch. It's like a boxer. Everything that you've turned, if you go to a new trainer, it's like stripped wood, But everything you've been taught, don't listen to. This is how it's going to be now. But I think I mentioned Zinedine Zidane. I think why not Flick, the ex-Germany manager? I mean, when he was the manager of Bayern Munich, he won 8 trophies in three seasons. I mean, that's a standard of a decent manager that you should be going to.
On as many trophies as they scored against Barcelona in a single leg semi-final in the Champions League.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. So you need to. This is where your board need to expand their options and bring up at least 3 decent managers. You made Sancho, yeah, okay, you might be able to do a job there, but if that's the case, you can't turn around and say, "Oh, after one season, he's no good." You've got to give him time, yeah, and time and to bring in these players, and it's only going to be top managers that's going to have the pulling power. And not being funny, you're Manchester United, yeah. You're in all fairness, you go, obviously you go on this street. You're the best team in England, so that's what I'm trying to say. So you've got that on your side with a new manager coming in, a brand new world class elite manager, pulling power. That is what you need, and also you need to spend. You need to sell, obviously, before you buy as well, because it's like what I said. With the FFP, which I don't agree with, I think they should get rid of it. I don't like it. But you've got that to contend with as well. So you can only bring in a certain amount of players each season. So it's like a building process. All right. And that's all I can say.
Yeah, 100%. We'll quickly jump on to talk about the situation that perhaps is one of the short straws for Arsenal at the moment in terms of them not quite getting over the line in terms of success. Looking for between the quality of first team versus second string. I mean, there any players on that Arsenal bench at the moment that will be decisive in terms of winning a Premier League title at the moment, or do you think that there's just got to be many more signings to go before you've got that depth, or maybe there is quality there in the form of some academy prospects that Arteta's overlooking?
Well, yeah, but he doesn't respect the reserve players. Unfortunately, like what Arsene Wenger did when he played the young ones in the Carabao Cup. Obviously it was the young ones that literally got us to the final, which we lost against Birmingham. But he doesn't like it, Mikel Arteta. It's like what I said in the last shows that Mikel Arteta wouldn't move talent if it came up and slapped him in the face, and that's true. Seriously, that's true. So he has to. So what he does, he goes around and looking at these players. Oh yeah, 80 million, 65 million, 100 million for this player, this and that player. Well, I'm sorry, but you've only got a certain budget to spend. You bring in 3 players. Maybe if you actually look at the quality of the player and what they can actually bring in, lower the price value down to a certain extent, and obviously let them gel as a team. I mean, we still got dead wood at our team. We haven't got the depth. We got no depth for nothing. Because I'll be honest with you, we've done all this 5-6-0 wins. If we don't win the league, all that, you might as well just throw in the bin because it don't mean nothing. We haven't won anything with it. So this is what I'm saying. This is the difference between the managers of what we've got. I mean, if you finish 8th this season, yeah, you finish 8th, you win an FA Cup, you beat Man City. We finish 2nd. Who's had the better season? You, because your trophies. Yeah, you've won a trophy, and that is the key to. In all fairness, I mean, you look at last season. I mean, with West Ham when they won the Europa League Conference. They had a better season than us. You had a better season than us, Fuzzy, Rick. You won the Carabao Cup last season. You won silverware, and you was in the final. Yeah, you was in the final of an FA Cup as well. And we finished 2nd, but what did we do? We didn't win anything. You don't get a trophy for finishing 2nd in the Premier League. So that's it. So it's all about winning trophies.
You really get his brownie points, which is, I guess, our top goodness love their brownies. They want the brownies points, but it's damning with what Arsenal manager said. Second string would get relegated. I mean, they wouldn't be any. They probably would be sat quite comfortably bottom half of the table, and that screams problems in and of itself. And just it's like, as you say quite frequently, spend 250 mil this summer. That's £1 billion. That's £1 billion spent. And
exactly
how many first team quality players can you bring off of that bench?
We haven't really got nothing on our bench. I mean, you look at it. Ramsdale is on our bench. I think the deal's already done with your goalkeeper. I think he's going back. You know, and I'll be honest with you now. It won't surprise me if Ramsdale would be a Man United goalkeeper next season. Seriously, it won't surprise me.
I mean,
Probably a toss-up between him and Newcastle. That's the thing.
But but trouble is though, it's Pope done because Pope is still, even though he's got that injury, but I mean, he could come back. I mean, you know, he could play really well, but you know, I feel sorry for him.
I mean, like, you know, going back to what you said, Anthony, it's a fact of. I mean, blimey, going back to when Terry was on with Claude and stuff. You know, how many times did you hear him saying about we're clearing out the dead wood, we're going to be getting this, that, and the other? You got one or two players which you overpaid for, in my eyes, in the first place. You never replaced the so-called dead wood, and you offloaded two or three players, and you still got players still sitting there. I mean, obviously, the classic one is obviously El Neni.
Yeah.
You're still paying this fellow a wage for what game time?
Exactly. He's got new game time. I can see the same about Eddie Nketiah now. It's very, he comes on, but he's on a bloody £100,000 a week. Now, if that's a player we want to get rid of, is any other football team going to match his wages, £100,000 a week? He's going to have to take a massive pay cut. So if I'm at £100,000 a week, he'll have to take around about a £30,000, maybe £40,000 a week pay cut. You know what I mean? To go to another team like lower down in the Premier League to get first team football. So, you know, you've mentioned it, El Neni, there's Smith Rowe, there's Reece Nelson, Fabio Vieira, Cedric Soares. You know, the list is endless.
This goes on, doesn't it? It goes on.
It goes on. I want Zinchenko. I want him gone. I didn't rate him. But our best left back is on loan in Germany. Fiorentina. He's not good. If he comes back from loan, he ain't going to want to play under Mikel Arteta because Mikel Arteta doesn't like him. So if you're not liked by Mikel Arteta, you don't get played. But I remember going back years ago for I know it's changing the story there a bit with Blackburn Rovers when Kenny Dalglish was the manager. Him and their goalkeeper Bobby Mims, they never got on. But Kenny Dalglish played him because he knew he was the goalkeeper. But personal matters was pushed aside. Do you know what I mean? So it's like what I said. This guy has got a lot of learning to do. He's too young, and the job is too big for him. Arsenal Football Club.
For a first job, and I don't think that gets spoken about enough. I mean, for a first club job, the only person really in history books that could hold it, like really sort of say, well, hello, I've done better than anybody else, would be Pep Guardiola at Barcelona. Massive club for your first job with a very specific DNA, and you gotta be hitting success after success from the get-go. But he did just that. Xabi Alonso, though it's not quite Barcelona, straight away, very first season as manager in football, success. He's laying the groundwork in a respectable league to pave for a future legacy. I mean, Richard, what in terms of with Mikel Arteta and how he goes about handling this Arsenal team, do you think that he's doing a good job with Arsenal, or do you think that there is quite a few key aspects about the managerial job there that he's overlooking or perhaps not achieving what he should be achieving?
I think he's like I said earlier, you know, he's a young manager, like we just said and everything. And I think, you know, maybe the club is too big for a manager at that age. It's hard to say where he's underachieving because obviously, like we said, you know, the way Man City have been playing the last few years and everything. But I just think like there are a couple of players short. I mean, you know, you look at the bench. I thought this Smith Rowe when he come through was it last season he come through? I thought he was going to be a potential. I thought he was going to be a level player, but he don't seem to give him no game time no more. But yeah, he's I think he'd be phased out this season, like you said. If he don't deliver, I think he'd be phased out. Because like you said, he's been, what's this now? 4 or 5 seasons he's been there now?
Be fourth full season.
5th is it? Yeah. I don't think Arsenal fans have put up too much more of it, to be honest with you.
No.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Rick, when Mikel Arteta won the FA Cup, that wasn't his team. That was Unai Emery's team.
Yeah, it was. He just inherited him straight on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he's, sometimes you start at the bottom of the ladder and work your way up. I think, like you said, he's been chucked in the deep end of the swimming pool. They're going to a club that size of the caliber of Arsenal and everything. So
he's got. We're going to wrap that. Yeah, we'll wrap the show up really quickly. Just a quick one. Thumbs up, thumbs down with this one. Jorginho new contract. Where is that? Good business for Arsenal. Bad business.
I think his thumbs down for me, Fud. His thumbs down. I mean, he's 32. He'd be 33 soon. And don't get me wrong. He didn't do.
Yeah, there you go.
He didn't do a bad job. He didn't do a bad job, but it's like what I said. I've noticed a difference since Thomas Partey's come back. But there's rumours now that Thomas Partey might be leaving Arsenal at the end of the season as well. So if he does, he does. But what I'm saying is he's got one more year, Partey. I'd rather sell him and get something back, even if it's 20 million per party, something, or 25 million, than rather a player like that leave for free. But he's in all fairness, he's too injury prone, and next season, if he does stay at Arsenal, he's going to miss the majority of next season as well. You might as well say half a season, at least.
Yeah.
Well, you know the old saying, Anthony, don't you?
What's that?
Trust the process. And how can you trust the process when you're signing, an older player? What does that say about where you're going? What is your kind of business plan in that sense, or a football plan? Because like us, for instance, this manager we're signing, is that the kind of levels we're kind of trying to achieve? Is it a 5-year process? Is it a 3-year process? I mean, if you look at Arteta, I think it's a 3-year process with him, and he's still there, like you said, for another season. But if you're re-signing Jorginho, you're either doing it for 2 reasons. You're keeping him on for experience, or he's going to adapt and become one of the coaches on the team. But other than that, you want, if you're looking to be that step further in your progression, signing players like Jorginho is not the way forward.
No, it's not. It's not saying. I think, in all fairness, you've hit the nail on the head. If we actually want to compete and win the league and compete with Man City, I believe it or not, I think Arsenal need, and this is bench players as well, Tim. Bench players. I reckon Arsenal. I think we've got to sign round about at least another 6, maybe 7 players. And we're talking about competition. Every player should have competition. They should be looking over their shoulders, saying, "Well, I played crap that last week. I'm in the team this week, but if I didn't play good in this game, I'm on the bench. So and so's got my place." And this is what we should have in all our teams, not just one, all of them. So, unfortunately, we haven't got that. We haven't got to that standard yet. So I feel that we're not going to. I don't. If he's there next season too, I don't think he's going to. I don't think we'll win the league. Sign Bowen, yes. I'm going to listen. As soon as I get off this stream, I'm on the phone to Danny Dyer. I'm going to talk him round.
Yeah, so we know he'll be on the phone. He'll be on the phone to Danny Dyer. He's going to be crawling off the bed, and Richard will be. What will Richard be doing?
Oh, he'll be watching Pornhub.
Yeah,
he's currently paused the video. He's still waiting in the background. He's like, can you believe this? I had to go on a YouTube show just to interrupt my flow. Can't believe it. Can't believe it.
Ready to go.
It's like, there's no Jesus, that's no yeah. Not good. We'll wrap things up quickly with a score predictions, if you will. We'll wrap things up. I've already gone balls to the wall with a 5-0 loss because, it's Manchester United. God only knows if there's any chance in hell that we're going to do anything against Arsenal. We'll get Richard's score predictions for this game. Are you in the camp that there's no chance? Or are you favouring an upset on Sunday?
I'll let you know about 4 o'clock when I see the team. It's gonna be a hard one. It's hard to say after Man United didn't know they're going to bounce back. I think if the crowd could get behind Man United and give them a good start, you never know. But I fancy Arsenal to win it. I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal.
Okay.
I think we score.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think, yeah.
What were you thinking, Anthony?
I'm going to go. I said it all week, Fuzzy. I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. I just feel our midfield attack and defense is obviously better than Man United. But listen, it's going to be a hard game, and I think Man United always shows up, and so do we in this particular game. And you've got home advantage as well. But unfortunately, the way you've been playing at the minute, I can't see nothing but Arsenal win.
And last but not least, Tony, what's your verdict?
Arsenal. I'll tell you what, it's in a bottle.
It's a sign.
It's a sign. Rick, I don't like it, mate. I hope if we lose tomorrow, I'm putting it down to this drink because it does. Seriously, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It tastes like piss, honestly.
Well, here it goes down easy as well, man.
Oh, yeah.
All it's going to be, right, is take care, Arsenal Manic. All it's going to be, right, is you're going to slowly, in slow motion, you're just going to be watching Anthony running beyond the last man, slotting it slowly past Raya, after Raya's passed it to him, of course. And you're just going to have your missus in the background screaming, United, United, United. You're like, you fucker. That's how it's going to be. Of course, you have Elliot Satchel spewing some propaganda. I'll tell you what, Putin would love you over in Russia if you could change a couple of words from Arsenal to Russia, of course. But, that's political, and we talk football over here. But anyways, guys, that is pretty much a closer for the show. Big shout outs to everybody in the chat, minus Elliot Satchel, of course. In his own special right. But big ups to everybody that has stopped by and dropped into the chat there. Always great to see everybody. Early Doors Football TV. Do you want to shout yourself out?
Yeah, it's Early Snooze TV. Yeah. You'll catch me in the bed, dozing off in about 5 minutes' time. No, it's Early Doors Football TV. You can find me doing, obviously, the Sunday Night Takeaway show on the Sundays. And then on Wednesday, I've got these two ugly bastards with me in Hot Fuzz and Anthony, as we are now. The three of us back together again.
Back together again.
Yeah, and Richard's disappeared. He's ran off. He I think the porn video carried on.
He ran off. He's my younger sibling. I'll speak on his behalf. My brother, he's on socials. There's no point calling them out because is absolutely rubbish. His social. It's like fucking dry bread. Nothing goes on. Also, he's obviously like me. He's from Bristol as well. And if you want to see him, Moves probably pop into your nearest Greg's where he comes out with 3 bags and he's on a diet. So big up to you, Rich. You can find me, the the Anson one. Yeah, you can find me on Early Doors Football TV, doing us three, on Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Also, we're on the Sunday Night Takeaway. You can find me from time to time on Jed's channel on Arsenal history and more. And all I want to say is make sure that you like, subscribe to Tony's channel and also Fuzzy's channel. Let's get Fuzzy up there and all the best. I just want to say to you guys, I haven't said it, but I will say it now. The show we do, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, is, I got to be honest with you, is absolutely brilliant, and I love it. And I couldn't do it with two better people than yourselves. So big
Thank
up
you,
to
mate.
you too. That's all right, ugly bastards.
I'll find him outside the Bristol Rovers Stadium. Yeah.
For the greater good.
It's
Oh,
rather
Pepper's
great.
pack. It's normally Acers is going on to me about that.
I'm telling you, it's the porn. He's trying to download the porn. It's
Yeah, I told him.
his FBI guys said, "Nah, that's enough, man. That's enough. I can't have any more of that."
Have they got fiber optics down your way yet, haven't they? Because obviously
They have.
You live about 20 years in the past, though.
They have. I think he's connected up to Jed's Wi-Fi. What happened the other night on his show?
So you just got to get the hamsters to fucking spin more in that fucking wheel.
Yeah. Next time you come on, Rich, can you please put 50p in your meter? All right, just put it in and turn it round like that bubblegum machine what you said years ago.
I like that Pepsi. Yeah, find out. Yeah, so Bristol Rovers Stadium and Clarkson Spa.
Facts, 100% facts. But anyways, once again, thank you very much to Early Doors, to Anthony Herbert, and also to Richard Herbert for jumping on the stream. It's definitely made it a very memorable preview for this game on Sunday. Massive stakes up for Arsenal. For United, it could be a great afternoon. It could be a horrendous afternoon. We'll see how that cookie crumbles when we get to it. But until then, it is good night from all of us on Heartless 44 OG. Make sure you also subscribe to Early Doors Football TV. And if you find Anthony on socials, follow him. Also to Richard as well. All great people. And come together to create fantastic shows as well. So big ups to everybody. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.
You guys.
Come on, you Arsenal.
United.